The human being was made to question his reality. Here is provided a forum that evades and rejects the mainstream media, where ideas and topics of interest outside of the norm are free to flourish and grow in the strangeness and with objectivity that is their right. Join us now for a discussion from somewhere between the real and the imagined, between outer and inner space, where things just odd enough to be the truth have a place to live, breathe, and make their home. Recorded live from the jagged edge of reality. This is JAG Radio.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Love the double guns. You are on the jagged edge of reality. You are on the Super Audio Network, and you are at the right place at the right time. Why? Because you are at the fucking George. You are at the place where guys get together to talk about guy things. Oh, but we are not talking womanizing wonderful Wahlberg wieners. Oh no. That's all I got. We are talking weird, otherworldly wonderings. I am Alex Martinelli here with JD Marcel, George Antonio, engineer Ray Day all day, and my personal favorite guest co-host, Mr. the one and only Trini Lamelli. What's going on, everybody?
What's up, guys?
What's up? What's going on?
I am for real.
Oh, that's right. Back on the air with Dre bringing urban flair.
Ah,
It's interesting.
I missed that song.
Urban Flair.
I gotta look it up on YouTube.
Which is that?
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Oh, that,
I
yeah.
can't stand that fucking song.
That was 10th grade for me, man.
Yeah, that was 10th
So
grade for me,
good.
too.
God.
George?
Oh, love that shit.
I
You were
never-
like-
I
like
was
you
already
were
out of school when that shit came out, man.
Yeah,
Like
for
late
real.
20s.
Yeah.
For real. Straight like,
I was like, dude, I had 2 kids by then.
Yeah, no,
I was listening to Judas Priest at that time.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was
Stuck in the
listening to Yanni.
Oh, Yanni.
I was listening to Kenny G and shit.
listening to Mark Wahlberg and the Funky Bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck that guy. He'll never get my $2. Fuck him and his burgers.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck
Yeah,
him and his
man.
burgers.
All right, so what's up, people? What's up?
Well, what is up, man? Thank you for joining us for the JAG Radio Show once again on the Super Audio Network. Just a quick reminder, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell everyone you know, yada, yada, yada. A lot of fucked up stuff, a lot of crazy stuff. We got into this last week a little bit, but I wanted to polish off the discussion about all of the natural disasters and sort of crazy things that seem to be happening on planet Earth
I don't know, man.
from a
Tomorrow's
natural
the
stamp.
The world ends tomorrow.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no
So
shit.
goodbye,
That's
guys.
So midnight or
right.
what? Is
Yeah.
that what we're
Yeah.
doing?
No, and
We're fucked.
apparently, yeah,
Shit, I
it's
gotta
like a
get home.
Christian, it's like a Christian denomination, or some weird group of rogue Christians that decided that the world ends tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's one of
yeah.
these guys,
It all makes sense, brother.
some weird
It all
cult.
makes
Do you think, like, the pastor or whoever leads these people, like, all right, guys, just in case it doesn't happen,
It's going to happen on this date. There's a backup date. Don't worry.
No, I
Just in
remember
case,
you
we
guys back
got
on
some
Sunday,
wine
right?
right here, guys.
there was one guy, this happens every couple of years. These
Yeah.
groups crop up and start proclaiming that the end of the world is nigh. There was one guy who said when it didn't happen, was reached for comment, and he said, well, the end of the world is of a spiritual nature, you see.
Oh, God.
Not the kind you can
Shut
see.
the not the kind that you let everyone to believe.
That's right.
Fucking
I don't know
moron.
why you guys bought camping gear and guns and motorcycles. It ended inside. The world ended inside all of you.
What if you thought the world was going to end and then you woke up and then you're like, the world didn't end. You're all mad that it didn't end, but then you die and you hear this noise. What would you do?
nice setup, Dre.
Oh, shit.
Well, I mean, to a pitiful delivery. I already spent all my damn money. I don't have
I know,
anything
right?
left.
I already
Shit.
praised
Every-
Super Mario like since I was a little kid, so shit.
Nothing is happening.
What
Yeah.
No,
am I doing here? I should
I-
be spending whatever money we got.
on Nintendo and shit.
but the funny thing is, apparently, a lot of Silicon Valley rich people are talking about how they're doing a lot of prep.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of I
Yeah.
don't know. I heard this in the morning in the radio somewhere or something like that. That there's a lot of people with like money and intelligence and shit who are prepping for this bullshit.
It just goes to show you anybody.
I don't know.
can be
Maybe they're
fucking
not
fooled into this
prepping
shit,
for,
dude.
say, that tomorrow's going to be the end of the world, but There's some weird shit going on now. Right now, there's a ton of weather things. So I guess maybe being prepared isn't a bad thing. You know,
Well,
having
I
some
mean, if
food,
you're in the
having
middle
some
of a-
water, having
I
maybe a
understand
satellite phone.
If you're in the middle of like a natural disaster,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you have that water.
Yeah.
But that the world is gonna end because this shit is going on, very doubtful.
Yeah.
It's not gonna end.
But I think his point might be that it's doing the prep, considering what's going on in the
You know?
world, might be a good idea.
Might
And
not.
it's possible that that's what they're doing, and the media likes making fun of these people because they can't be that stupid, right?
They
Y-
are.
Really? are rich people stupid? Are there studies out?
I'm not stupid.
You're not so. I stand corrected.
I mean, they may be hardworking people who made a lot of money and got
Right.
lucky, but
Mm.
doesn't excuse them from stupidity. Anybody can be
Mm.
It
stupid.
does. It's called affluenza.
Oh.
It literally does.
Is that contagious?
They get
or
away
what?
with it. They get away with different crimes and stuff by affluenza because they have money and they haven't been subjected to normal laws.
but that's more entitlement
Yeah.
than being stupid, right? That's more
They're
oh
like
yeah, I
entitled to
thought we
being
were talking about rich
stupid.
people. I'm
Well,
sorry.
yes, we
Yeah.
are. Drake, turn off your mic, would you? If you would.
Okay, hold on.
it's-
Go ahead.
You
Let's do
just-
the whole show like this.
Everybody's
Yeah.
watching now. Everybody's tuning in.
Hey. So anyhow, yeah. So I think they're just prepping, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, I myself have been thinking about stocking up on some stuff at home.
Have you?
Not going fucking all ammo and shit. Getting shotguns and fucking backup generators.
but that's
and-
Would you get shotguns? Why would?
I think I would want a shotgun anyway.
Really?
I just would like to have a gun.
You look fucking badass, dude.
Yeah.
With a shotgun.
With-
And it would be the
Get off my property.
the thing the thing about it is when that's gone on, because here's the thing is a lot of people, and they love to do this on old TV shows, is the power went out, let's bond as a family and let's everybody enjoy, light the
Let's
candles
get the
and how
candles.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
How awesome.
That only happens here in California, man.
No, well, my point is that even if it did happen, that would go on for maybe 2 weeks until people started running out of food
Yeah.
and running out of water and getting desperate. And if you didn't stock up and the guy 2 houses down did, guess who now has to guard his water
Oh
supply?
hell yeah.
And his like baked beans and all that crap. So I
Yeah.
think that for that reason, look, we'd eventually all devolve into The Walking Dead. Except without zombies.
Without zombies,
It'd be,
yeah.
which is worse because it's just all people. It's not stupid zombies that just
You know,
It's
dur-
stupid people.
You know,
yeah.
during the Houston flood, right?
Yeah.
Was it Haley, right?
Harvey?
Hurricane? Harvey.
Harvey.
So there was a lot of people. Obviously, there's people looting, right? But there's also people going out and helping out other
Oh,
people,
yeah.
right?
Right.
So I don't think it's gonna be all super insane people.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people will actually get together, man.
Think so?
Well,
Yeah, I think so.
I think again, yes.
Yeah.
But it would depend. Eventually, if it went on for long enough without electricity and power and so forth, it would just become animalistic.
Think so?
Yeah, I agree with that. I
Yeah,
agree with
absolutely.
That.
That-
After
Every
a
man
certain
for
amount
themselves?
of time,
In other
of the
words,
same shit.
6 months without the power grid,
Oh yeah.
it'd be fucking District
Chaos.
9 out there.
Yeah.
It'd be a disaster.
Fuck, imagine that.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, and again, for that reason, you need ammo. But I mean, it's okay. Because this is the Jack Show, George. Why because we've talked about how this affects human nature and it could all just be natural, whatever. But
Right.
your people, the frou-frou folk, all seem to
as the head foo-foo folk fellowship.
yeah, you guys seem to believe that something significant is going
You know,
on, and that's the reason behind.
According
all
to my
this.
FUFO resources, let me just bring it out. So basically, what they were talking about is the Earth is going through an energy pattern. It's like the solar system going. Actually, the Milky Way spinning. Obviously, we're one of the branches, and we're traveling into a part of space that the solar system hasn't really traveled in. Right, with humans on it, I guess theoretically.
Okay.
And so, I'm kind of a big ET buff. So, what they describe is that right now we're going into a spot where no human has ever traversed. So, in other words, the
Uncharted
Earth, yeah,
territory.
it's uncharted territory. Like they equate us to the fleas on the dog, right? So the Earth is going through a pattern that is causing all of these weather patterns, right? I guess the energy is affecting the sun, which therefore affects the core of this Earth, right? Because everything is technically related magnetically,
Yeah.
and so it's causing altered patterns, which which is really interesting because I mean I can understand why everybody thinks it's gonna be the end of the earth or whatever end of times because we really don't see like 4 or 5 hurricanes hitting the same streak, right? I mean that's pretty unique.
That's
Earthquakes
true.
and all that.
But
And
then
then
again, that's
not-
in humanity's time.
You don't think it's
I mean,
global
I'm
warming?
pretty sure.
It is because of global warming and the weather patterns.
Yeah.
The way hurricanes happen is because of warm water.
Yeah, it's a warming.
The warm
Yeah, it's
water
a
is
warming
lasting
pattern.
longer.
The world has been through this before. It's just not with us on it.
Well, the
Right.
dinosaurs?
Yeah.
No,
Like
but then
it's severe.
but if that's the case, yeah, no, I would argue the dinosaurs probably went through way worse than we did. But
Again, we've
but
only
no,
been
but
here for
if
2,000 years.
if that's the case though, that it is just sort of weather patterns, and that would mean we're
big
not
deal.
doing anything.
Right.
Mm,
But,
Yeah, and no big deal.
Yeah, no
right?
big deal,
Because
right,
this is
yeah.
natural, the natural
but,
order
but
of
there's
things.
been a few earthquakes too, right? Across
Right.
across the
Yeah,
globe.
just one
Can't believe-
yesterday.
Well, it's
Mexico.
because of global warming. It must be.
Yeah, right.
Sit down.
Earthquakes.
That's
Sit down.
There you go. So, but interesting nonetheless. But it's nice. It's nice to see that people are trying to maybe repent a little bit and seeing patterns and saying, "Hey, maybe I should be a better human now."
I like that.
Never fucking hurts.
No,
right?
you know that's true. That's absolutely I mean,
Yeah.
because when you have a gun to your head and you or any situation where damn I might die in the next 5 minutes
Right.
or 5 hours or 24 hours, there is a sort of I mean, unless you're a complete piece of shit, there is a re-examination of what have I done in life,
Right.
and could I, if I survive this, maybe move forward a little bit.
Right.
So it might be better from a societal standpoint for these things to happen.
Right.
I want more natural disasters.
Yeah, I know. It wouldn't
God
hurt,
damn it.
actually. But it makes you think too, because obviously the people that are experiencing the severe weather and shit like that, they're actually in hot zones, right? They're
Well,
literally,
yeah. I mean, all the earthquakes
weather
is happening
hot
along
zones.
the Ring of
so
Fire.
would
and
that make
Ring
you,
of
if you guys
Fire.
lived in these hot zones, say for example, Houston or
Oh, God
you know,
forbid that
would you guys
bullshit. No.
contemplate moving, man? I mean, would you guys or just say I'm gonna fucking stick this shit out, and then another fucking hurricane comes in and fucking hits you?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you have enough time to think about it. I mean, all this shit
No,
is
but
coming
I
on
think he's
so
talking about like
fast.
afterwards. Like, would you stay
Oh,
there?
probably
after
afterwards. Yeah.
Would you stay there? Would you rebuild?
I'd get the fuck out. Nah,
Right.
fuck that shit.
I'd stay there.
No,
I'd stay
I
there,
think
yeah.
I
Nah.
would stay too.
Nah,
I
fuck
would
that.
stay too because of the because you also have a greater sense of camaraderie with the people who survived with you,
Nah, fuck them.
and you need.
Because I'm
He's
poor.
like, you know-
because I'm poor.
You know, John down the street, he looks kind of thick there. I think I'd feed on him.
Did you guys hear about that one guy? I don't know if it was in Texas. It was even during Harvey or another hurricane or natural disaster. He was telling everybody, man, this place is going to flood soon. I know it. This place is going to flood. So he went ahead and built a inflatable tube all
Sure.
around his house.
Oh, clever.
No.
And inflated this shit, and he watched everybody's house go under while his stayed perfectly dry on the inside of it.
And
Oh,
you
that's
too
pretty-
can buy
that's
this for
really smart,
$19.95.
Yeah, it's some shit now. They're bringing this all now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That means he put his whole house on top of a.
No. He built this
Barrier.
an inflatable barrier all around the fucking house.
Well, check it out.
His grass was dry. Everybody else was flooded.
Well, check it out. Houston has a really funny kind of known thing about the territory. Houston is back when I was selling mortgages. There's this law called Homestead Law in Houston, and the majority of Houston is in a flood pattern. It's in like a flood basin, a 500-year flood basin, right?
Oh, so
So
it's just about time.
yeah. So back in I think in the 70s, 80s, a big old flood came by, fucked up, just wrecked everything, right? And then after it dried up, they fucking started rebuilding on it. So any real estate agent has to make you weary of that, right? And you have to buy insurance against
Wary.
that, right?
Right.
Wary of it. Thank you. And so this is just natural shit, man. This is the cycle. It just came back.
I wouldn't
around.
move. I'd stay there. Just stick it out. It is where I am.
The weird thing about it is so much is happening. It's almost like every week you tune in and someone's getting clobbered.
You know
Yeah.
something really interesting. I mean, obviously, there's arguments that we're connected to the Earth, right? But if the Earth is going through some of these severe patterns, why wouldn't we be going through these severe patterns too, right? Like say psychologically, right? Like say fucking the North Korean fucking dudes going insane over there. There's a lot of people complaining that they have some woe time, right? Like a lot of people have been saying that they've had some hard times, right? Like lately.
In North Korea,
Not North Korea, but just around the world. Like say for example, we have the eclipse. Not that
Emotionally?
theoretically, the moon does have gravitational pattern with us, right? And it does affect people generally.
Yeah,
right?
it does.
Yeah.
Did you hear that lady screaming at the eclipse?
What?
She was screaming like she was. Oh my god.
She's like, turn on the fucking lights.
Well,
Oh
these
my
people
God.
are
What
insane. These people are nutty as shit. No, and also,
But do you think it should have influence on us, right? Yes or no?
okay.
What do you guys
I
think?
will tell you, I agree with you in the following way, which is, well, first off, I'm not connected to the fucking Earth. Fuck the Earth. I'm my own thing. When I die, the Earth won't give a
Yes,
shit.
You're a thing.
You know, it's going to erect a tree right
That's
in your
right.
place.
No,
man.
the Earth won't care when I die, but
don't know.
I will
But
tell you.
Starbucks will.
Yeah, you bet.
My kids. They won't go to college anymore.
My kids shouldn't go to college, but more on that later.
I'm talking about
Our
Starbucks.
kids shouldn't go to college. Yeah, but more on that later.
But
it's no. Okay, I will.
Check it
People
out.
do get weird around the full moon. I think.
Right, that's what I was
That
gonna
does
bring
seem
up.
to be
Yeah.
a thing.
It's
I mean,
during high moon or full moons, emergency centers at all hospitals just get flooded with fucking insanity, man.
See, and that's trippy, dude. What do you think happens to people during the fucking
I
full
don't know.
moon?
Maybe we just made ourselves believe that something's
No,
happening.
here's
you know
the
what?
thing.
That's a possibility.
I
you know?
used to think it was bullshit. It was right up there with black cats and walk under the ladder and all this stupid horseshit that people believe in. And then, but I swear to fucking Christ, if you go out on a full moon, you do see some weird stuff.
Man.
People do get weird, man. Even you talk to cops and they'll tell you like
Yeah.
it's
Some sort
we
of
get
burst of energy. you know?
God knows what it is, but it's
They get more calls and shit.
yeah,
after
and
that.
weirder shit. Like people just act weird. It's nuts.
Well, if
Yeah,
they're
this
yelling
guy-
at the eclipse, I guess so.
So
wanna
same,
hear it? You wanna hear her scream?
Same morons.
Oh,
We
damn.
got a
Oh,
test
yeah.
before. Yeah, this guy's fucking yelling at the moon again. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
He's howling, man. He's howling. But interesting.
It's crazy, dude. She said it sounded like bloody murder. It sounded like she was being raped. It was
Oh,
crazy,
shit.
man.
I'm kind of interested in what the fuck this is.
Nah, it
Are
always.
you gonna play that?
I'm trying to play it, but it always fucking wants to
then-
play it.
no,
Yeah,
let's-
man.
let's stick to the game
but-
plan.
But intelligence, you think it's related to intelligence, academia, and shit like that? You think
What is?
the more intelligent someone is, the more less
less they're likely to
affected they
believe
are
that shit?
Susceptible
to.
they are to it.
Yeah, you think so?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
stupid people psych themselves into stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in other words, if I honestly, with my heart of hearts, believe that a black cat crossing my path will fuck up my life, I'm gonna start acting differently. I'm gonna start,
Well, okay.
affecting avoiding black cats and avoiding ladders.
You'll
and
start
avoiding,
attracting it and everything bad that's happening because of that black fucking cat now. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's fun. That is the experience of life for a lot of people.
Really?
No, I mean, George you have a whiff of this.
Yeah.
This idea that, like, well, if I see certain numbers, it has certain meaning, and if I break the glass in the bathroom or the mirror, it's 7
Well,
years
not like
bad
that.
luck.
No, not that type of shit.
Oh,
but-
well, no, yeah,
no.
no,
My
that's
stuff's
different.
more rational.
Oh, of course.
Like if I see number patterns, that
My
means
shit is
that's
more
significant to
rational
me.
bullshit.
Yeah, my stuff is more rational, irrational bullshit. But interesting enough, my thing is when I see 11:11, that seems like oddly enough when I look at my clock or my phone or whatever it may be, it's 11:11.
11,
And,
11,
yeah,
all
and
the time.
Yeah, and so for me that theoretically means that I'm on I guess in sync or whatever I'm should be doing. But I also read a while
When the
back
full
ago-
moon comes out, I yell at it.
Oh yeah, nice dude, you should.
It goes away.
Yeah, and
It
then,
means it's my way of knowing I'm on track.
and then it starts waning.
I jack
Just
off
because
to
you
the
yell at
full
it.
moon all the time.
But there's a lot of superstitious shit to it. For example, a lot of times people say number sequences like 11:11 means that you just had a split kind of you just ran into a separate time timeline.
A bunch of stupid,
Like a
bunch of
fucking like
stupid
a
hippie girls are
Mandela
losing
like a
their
so
shit.
Mandela effect.
did you run into it or did you split off into two separate timelines?
You know, theoretically, they say it's like you've died. When you see 11:11, you've actually you've traversed different timelines,
What the
and that's
fuck?
trippy. I mean, I just thought that was kind of
I have a
interesting.
weird
So I
theory.
threw that
about-
in.
I have a weird theory about 11.
How's that?
What
tell
is
me,
that?
Tell me all about it, Dre.
It's you know how everything comes from words. Well, 11. What is it? It's two L's, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you take the two parts of the word L even, it's L even. Two L's, L even.
Of course.
Mm.
Why
have
didn't
no
I
idea
see
what
that
that-
before?
And then I just contributed to drugs.
Thank you for that public announcement. But what do you guys have? Do you guys find that you guys experience like deja vu's and shit like that?
Deja vu, I do a
I've
good
had
amount.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have a weird thing once where I was I had a dream about like shoes, It's weird, about sneakers.
Oh, you're a
These
sneakerhead,
these
though.
particular pair of Jordans, and I'm for some reason I don't even know why they would come up in my dream. And then later that day, I saw a guy wearing those exact same ones in the color from my dream.
And it triggered the dream in your
Yeah,
head.
It triggered the
yeah,
eclipse
and,
with
yeah. I had
therefore
completely forgotten the dream itself. And I was just, I don't think, I just, you have dreams and you forget about them. And then I'm walking around that day and then I see this guy wearing those exact same shoes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. And I told George because I figured he'd be into
I
it.
love that shit.
I've had that with smell. Deja
Smell.
vu with smell. Like, I reach a certain place and it smells like I've been here before.
He's like, carnitas asadas.
It's the fucking
It would be you with the smell.
It's a crispy,
like,
it's a Krispy Kreme
well,
by
no
your
shit,
house.
Jason. You just went into the bathroom again.
It smells like home.
Massive dump. Like,
talking about Krispy Kremes, a lot of that's an actual strategy for a lot of businesses is to fucking pump their
Yeah, they pump
restaurant
their smell
exhaust or
out,
whatever out so
Yeah.
people be hungry when they're driving by.
Yeah.
It's fucking clever.
That's very clever. Yeah.
That's my excuse when I fart.
Ah, yes.
Have
No
you ever
wonder.
have you a Dutch oven Lady Boo?
No, nah.
Oh, you
She'll
should.
get mad. She'll get pissed off. I do fart in front of her though. I just rip them and be like, brr. I look at her and be like, sorry. Fuck you want me to do? And she'll be like, I'll get you back later.
Oh. It's tit for tat.
I used to do that with my ex.
Yeah.
Dutch oven! Yeah!
I could see you doing that. That's right up your alley. God.
It was the best.
Some
It
things are
was the
sacred,
best.
dude. I
Yeah.
can't do that shit to my wife.
No,
I
No, but
can't.
your wife would kick your ass.
No, it's like as of now,
She
it's
would
like
hurt him.
I would never walk into her when she's taking a dump, nor
Well,
would she.
no,
into
that's
mine.
don't
That's
lose
like
your
so
mind.
fucking- that's fucking gross. man.
That's fucking gross.
That's fucking gross, dudes. Come
No,
on.
Come on,
Can you pee with the door open?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I do all the
Yeah,
time.
okay.
Blumpkins.
Take a shit with the door open? What the
Blumpkin, what the fuck
You
is
know what
that?
Blumpkin is?
I've never
my
heard
No,
that
we
shit.
actually-
define it. Define it for
we
the
actually
listeners,
did
man.
it. We actually did a show titled "The Reverse Blumpkin."
Fuck is a Blumpkin?
It's titled something that it's not on the website. Everybody tune in.
So define that for us, Mr. Dre.
Well, Blumpkin. Well, why does Alex tell us? He's done it a couple of times.
What? Mine was the reverse. No,
What
I'm
was
sure
it?
I can't do your description justice. You do it.
That's true.
What is it?
that's
What is
true.
it? I need to hear it.
Tell us.
All
Tell
it
the
is
viewers.
getting head on the toilet when you take
Yeah.
a dump. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah, and I
I'm
think
taking a
Now my
shit.
thing is like, do you have to be taking a dump, or could you have taken one and then still get the head and does it count? That's my thinking.
That's
I don't
fucking
know.
pretty.
no,
that's-
and it's actually it's the reverse Blumpkin was what happened to me, which is I got really drunk and I was doing stuff with a girl at a club and she was going and making me happy.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was the reverse.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
Super
that
fun.
still doesn't work.
So
for
you
me,
were
man.
standing.
Yes,
Ah.
and simultaneously taking a dump. Strangely enough. No, I was
In my
almost.
pants.
I was,
So you left. So
I
you
was
left-
really drunk.
You left with baggage.
I have a problem. All right, let's George is grossed out, and I am too a little bit. But talking about
Intelligence.
spiritual ascension of the earth,
The end of the world. We're talking about.
So,
Is
you
it
know,
Blumpkin or Blumpkin?
reflecting on your life.
well, you know, let's change it. Let's shift gears a little bit, right?
Right.
All right. So,
Alright.
you know, I got this clip for everyone to watch. It's this really thing.
Wait,
you know,
hold on a second
Yeah.
before you go. So okay, so let's just recap for the listeners
Yeah.
because everything's gone to shit. Everything's all over the place. Haha,
Literally.
fun.
Yeah.
It's so this we're the planet, but you know, in your world, George, is going into a place in the solar system where it's never gone before.
correct. It's you know, there's I think the galaxy runs a cycle about 250 million years. So we've only theoretically been on the planet for maybe 100,000 years. So it's never been inhabited in this part of the Earth, I guess. So it, you know, they what I've found out, you know, from their information or whatever it may be, that
Them
it's
being
you know, ET shit.
aliens, right?
Yeah, ET
Okay.
shit. So they're describing that it's going to continue, man. The Earth is going to go through a lot more cycles like this, and actually, severe weather patterns is going to be actually kind of a normal for a while.
And do we have any idea what it's going to be like on the other end of this, and will we
well,
be alive to see?
theoretically, what's supposed to be happening is I guess they really don't ever
we not
describe
know?
what what's going to happen because
That's
no
all
one's
right.
ever
I've
been
heard
around.
a couple theories that
Yeah.
the weather patterns are just going to shift. Like places where it usually is really really hot is going to get really really
Well, you
cold.
guys,
and
did you guys hear or
vice
see the
versa.
pictures of Mammoth?
What
All
about
the snow they got?
No, man.
Oh,
I was
Fucking
there.
snow.
Yeah.
Fucking
Mammoth?
End of summer, man. And
Really?
they
Yeah.
have snow covered
until
everywhere.
July. Up into July.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that like
you know?
something that
Yeah,
shouldn't
dude,
be?
it's
or what?
summer. It should
Yeah.
not be happening.
Things-
and it's
things-
fucking snowing.
Not that late. Not into July.
Hell
yeah.
no.
shit.
So things are going to last maybe a little longer. Places are going to get colder.
I
you
think,
know,
I
weather
think
that
the,
doesn't
the,
usually
the
happen.
seasons are gonna shift definitely. Like you
Yeah,
said.
right?
Yeah.
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 And they showed pictures, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it was covered with snow. I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah.
could
Yeah.
fucking snow.
You never know. And then wasn't it like a couple of years ago that we were getting ice here in California?
Oh yeah.
When do we ever
Yeah,
get
yeah.
fucking ice
Yeah.
here in California? So definitely something's happening to the world
Are you
right
talking
now.
about like patrols, like border patrols?
Oh,
shit.
That was the last show.
I just, yeah, I just, I,
That was on my show earlier.
I gotta get out
you
of here.
get ice all the time, dude.
I can't hang out too long.
But
I
so
can stay.
the people that have been giving George these messages, we may have gotten them on film, huh?
Oh.
Well, yeah, theoretically,
Mhm.
right? So let me put this one up for you. This our good friend at the our good German friend, that mutual
Oh.
German friend.
German.
He knows. He's a real UFO
Deutschman.
buff like
Ah.
me.
Yeah.
So
What's his name?
Mr. German guy.
Ah,
German
Mr. German guy. Okay.
Peter.
Oh yeah.
That's racist.
Peter.
Are you gonna show the video?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Show lots of video.
So guys, you got to check this shit out. This is really fascinating. So hit it, Dre. What the fuck? Right.
Wait a minute.
Kind
There's
of-
two.
This was
There's-
on Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Okay.
Okay.
All right, he's doing some magic. Dre's doing his
I don't
magic
know
right
what's
now.
going on.
This is recorded on a phone.
Oh, okay. So,
Okay.
So this is
Oh,
during like a
alright.
big festival or some shows going on with a lot of people on the
Oh,
street.
there's no audio.
There
there's no
should
audio.
be, man.
There's no audio.
Oh well.
No,
whatever.
it's fine. What's
That's
it gonna
fine.
be?
So,
Just weird
so
rustling?
obviously this looks like just something going through the atmosphere, burning up, right?
Mhm.
Check
Right.
this out.
Right.
It's gonna stop. Watch.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Oh fuck.
Oh, what the
That's
fuck?
asteroid. That's gonna be asteroid.
Cool.
That is fucking cool.
And
Wait. Okay.
boom.
And then it just stops.
Right, man.
Nice.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
Wait for
I
it.
like
Wait
that.
for it.
Oh, hold on.
For those of you that are listening to the audio,
That's right. Thank you, Jay.
Jesus Christ. So that
Whoa!
the-
It
oh,
just
okay.
reconstituted it. What the fuck?
so the big ball coming from the sky split apart, and then now
It's a bunch
the
of little
faint
pieces.
lights
Yeah.
just gave off a bunch of energy, emitting more light. And
Oh wow, dude. they're
And now
Let me,
they're
let me
fading
describe
away
it,
again.
everybody. You would see something descending, like say something burning up in the atmosphere, right? So it's coming in with with the tail, right?
Mhm.
It was ascending to the ground, and as it was coming down closer, it started, expanding like into pieces, like as if it was a satellite or something, right?
Yeah.
But then
they're still floating.
each individual one separated out and actually lost their tails and froze midair. They stopped descending.
And by the way, while George is still talking, they're still there.
they're still descending actually.
Yeah, slowly descending. That's
Slow.
right.
Slowly
so this
descending.
this dovetails into my friend. He took video from his own camera. He got this little
This
fancy
is
camera.
his video.
No. This is
Oh.
Something that he shared
is
with me because
okay.
I'm totally into this shit.
This is a
Right.
precursor to the video that the German friend took.
Oh,
Right,
wow.
right. So he took. I mean, I asked him to dig it up for me that he took with his camera.
Right.
But he lost it on his hard drive, so he's trying to fix his computer.
Oh, damn.
But
Oh,
it was
let
the
down for
it was
the
just literally
listeners.
the opposite. It was literally the opposite of that. So instead of descending, it was ascending. It looked
So
like someone
lame.
shooting off skyrockets, right?
Right.
With the tail leaving from the ground up.
Yeah.
And I thought, hey, they're flares or whatever. Someone's
Yeah, in the
illegal fireworks shooting up into the sky, right?
Shit, there's an ET.
But
Oh, no, sorry guys.
that's our next segment, guys. But they ascended from the ground into a triangular pattern in the sky, and they froze there
Oh.
as individual sources of light, right?
See, that
But this
is
is his
super
own
cool.
capture
Right.
from his own area,
Wow.
and that was fucking pretty dope, man. So
Yeah.
that's really neat. I mean, definitely catches people's
What-
eyes,
yeah, what-
and it doesn't obviously. I mean, let's go around the room. What do
Well,
you guys think
this
about
is
what
the
it
first. This is the first of our new segment, Gay or Nay.
is? Because of the G. I got you,
Because of
gay
the
or
G,
nay.
yeah.
All right, that's
And your
fine.
shirt.
Hey.
so-
Gay or
Hey.
nay.
Shots
Mr. Lomelli,
fired.
I don't know, man.
Gay or nay?
It looks pretty cool, but no, I don't believe it.
You don't believe it?
Nah,
Why not?
Why not?
because I just can't.
You just
Ooh.
can't.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ah.
Dun, dun.
Your logic is so solid.
My logic is so solid, it cannot be.
What is your argument against it?
My
Yeah.
argument is that it cannot be.
Ah.
That's accurate, dude. That's
That's
thank
pretty.
you.
That works.
He's like, that works for me.
That works.
Miss
No,
Lem-
man, I don't know what to think about it. I honestly don't. It's just fucking trippy.
Trippy, right?
Yeah.
Very
It's
trippy.
fucking trippy the
It doesn't
fuck
follow
out.
like general physics,
No.
right?
Yeah, physics
Yeah.
is out the fucking window right now.
Yeah.
Mr. Martinelli.
I'm gonna have to echo Lamelli's feeling. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's
Gay or nay?
yeah. I don't know. Jesus, man.
Because he's the alien guy right here.
Yeah. See that this is the place where my armor is weak. This is the
Yeah,
place
me
where
too, man.
yeah.
I'm just like,
Obviously, this is a little bit different from the standard UFO footage of some SARS flying around or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck.
Right.
This is pretty interesting.
And you know what it made it fascinating is
that?
I was with at first it was like, oh, okay, big rock coming into the atmosphere, giving us a light show.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it breaks off into little rocks,
Right.
perfectly normal, perfect.
Right.
And then they just stop moving.
Yeah.
and then
Right.
now that's
That's
when
what
I'm.
intrigued everybody.
and then went to
Yeah.
a geographic or a geometric pattern, right? Like
Yeah.
a V.
Mm.
Okay.
So you think there's an actual reason why they are in that?
I think it's a show, man. I think it literally.
You think
there-
they saw
there's,
them-
You
there's
think
a
it's a
lot.
specific pattern? It's a sign.
You
It's
think
a
they
symbol?
saw the Mighty Ducks and they're like, flying V.
It's everybody should have a vacation. But no, I think it's a lot of the stuff is happening frequently around the planet. There's a lot of footage of shit on Facebook and all kinds of stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's interesting because it's obviously some sort of demonstration, man. Something that falls chaotically, right? That you would normally assume would descend and crash and burn, right?
Right.
Just
Freezes
kind of just
in the air.
refreezes and freezes in midair.
You think they were showing us something, or they're just cruising around
I
in
think they-
space and they came to like, oh fuck, and they're just
No.
staring at us,
No.
going like, what do we do?
Everybody's watching. Let's pull something really cool off.
I beg the question, do you guys think it's connected to all of this weather stuff? You think that we're getting visitors from another planet
Was this recent
or
then?
another
Or-
universe?
Yeah, it's pretty recent. Maybe a few weeks, I think.
because of
Oh.
all the weather changes. Because of all the
Trying to
shit
sa-
that's
they're
going
trying
on
to
right
save
now.
us.
I
Well,
don't know.
I think that's the direction George was heading. If I feel like I'm gauging
There's a
this
connection?
correctly. No,
What's that?
hold on. It's. I think George, are they? If they are, if
What if-
let's
if they
go
are.
down this crazy
Rabbit hole.
crazy retard train here. if they are
The crazy train. Hey,
putting
you got
on
some of that?
putting on a show for us,
Right.
might it be and this is, I know you and I know your brain was going in this direction.
Oh,
Might
boy.
it be a preview of things to come?
Yeah, it's. I think disclosure. We've talked about disclosure quite a bit a long time, right?
Just-
Disclosure meaning UFO saying, "Hey," or aliens saying, "Hey, dude, your guys aren't alone in the fucking universe," right? So,
dude.
so something when completely this kind of like defunks normal physics, right? That definitely catches people's eye. Because
Not-
if it would have crashed into the ground, everybody, it's just something crashed, big fucking deal.
Right.
But that, when it's suspended and formed a geometric pattern, that's different. There's
Yeah,
some
that's
sort of
definitely-
logistics to it. Because they were all equal pattern. They were equidistant from one another.
I will say that if it had crashed to the ground, even if it is some sort of alien starship,
Yeah.
essentially the only people it would have affected were the people who would have seen it,
Right.
right? Because theoretically you'd get
Or
the men
under
in,
it.
Well, or you'd get the men in black in there or whatever the
Yeah,
hell, and they'd
right.
clean it
Your
up and
brain
cover it
is erased.
or what have you, right? Or something like that. But if you can keep it in the air and get them to look at it, now you got a way bigger audience.
Yeah, I never thought of that. That's
Yeah.
very clever.
That's a
God
good
damn it, man.
point.
You come with some
No,
spins every once in a while.
This show
Nice.
has done a weird thing to me. Well, regarding this type of shit. I have
More open
because
to it.
if you, I don't want to say that. It sounds so gay.
Not over the
But
air,
it's-
dude, but over in private.
What,
Yeah.
What if this is connected? What
Well,
if
hold
what
on,
the
here's-
aliens? Okay, go ahead.
Here's
go
the
ahead.
thing. It is what I was gonna say is, if you dig up old episodes of the Jag Show, and we talk about disclosure, my stance is very strictly. There's no, we're the only life on Earth and so forth, and,
Right.
and all that kind of. And lately, I've been thinking to myself, well, the universe is big, very, very,
Very
big.
vast.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm open to the idea, and I was thinking the other day, what if, before our civilization even emerged, there were other civilizations
Right.
that started before we did and ended before we even came up on Earth?
Right.
You know what I mean? In other words, millions of years ago, somewhere, while this planet was still inhabited by dinosaurs, couldn't there have been some intelligent life somewhere
Possibly.
equally as intelligent as ours?
Right.
Probably.
And this is all new to me and weird. I don't know. I feel weird. I'm gonna be quiet. This is odd.
He's just gonna go quiver onto the corner and cry.
What I'm saying
What
is,
do you
like,
think, Mr.
what
Mr.
if
Man?
what if this is connected? Let's just say, for example, a scenario, this is connected, and the reason that they're showing themselves now is because somebody fucked up. Like they were running some tests. Yeah.
They're like,
Like,
God damn it, I fucked
Yeah,
up.
like what if fucking Quagnar, miscalculated, and now our weather is all fucked up. It's like, God damn it, Quagnar, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And now, they're coming in to,
Like that
Fuck
time.
shit
Mo-
up?
like that time.
fix
Mo-
it.
Like
Oh,
that
I
time
see.
Mothman got fired.
Yeah, like the time.
Because classic Jag. Talk about classic Jag. Old
Mothman.
episodes. Look up the Mothman episode, people. That'll make
man,
sense.
I love
Very
that
cool.
episode.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I know there's a movie out called Fire in the Sky about alien abductions and shit, and that's apparently part of it. Is that it's really this guy, the main guy in the story, was a logger, and he sees some weird lights. Him and his buddy see some weird lights in the woods where they're working or after work or what have you, and they go investigate. It's a craft, alien aircraft that's docked or whatever.
Right.
One of the guys goes to check it out. Their alarm system goes off. The alien's alarm system blasts him with like a laser or whatever the hell, some kind of weaponry, and he goes down. And he said that they took him on board the ship to patch him up because they realized
yeah, I
they'd
remember
fucked up.
Yeah.
They realized that, oh crap, one of the Earth life forms got too close to the ship.
Oh,
We
shit.
blasted his ass.
So like a cop and a regular person.
Right, that's
Yeah.
right.
It happens.
Well, a black person.
Oh, yeah,
ah,
but was he black?
Blast. Shit.
Fucked
damn.
up.
We fucked
Damn it,
up.
you
Oh,
guys.
man.
Damn it, Quagnar, you fucked up again, you stupid bastard.
My bad. My bad.
But yeah, and apparently, and according to the guy, the guy who's supposed to have gone through this, I don't know whether this is documented or not, but he said after they patched him up, he remained a logger and 30 years in hadn't called in sick once.
Oh,
wow,
wow.
what the hell?
So they super
him up
fixed
good,
him up.
man.
Got,
Super fixed
Damn,
him.
fixed
Yeah.
me up, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
Now it takes down trees with just one swipe.
Never get
Yeah.
diarrhea again.
Interesting, man. Interesting.
No more weird smell experiences.
So, so what do you think, man? Gay or nay?
That's pretty
interesting,
trippy.
right?
That is pretty crazy.
Pretty unique one.
Oh, while I agree with them that I don't know what this is, that definitely defies the laws of physics, and I've never seen something like that. The video, I mean, because of the quality, I mean, it looks legit. Of course, you can,
do all kinds
a
of shit
bunch of
nowadays.
shit.
that's
but
what I was thinking with the geeks in the house. Is this
Well,
a thing that
This
you
is
could
more
do?
in the Giorgio realm. What
Yeah,
do you think?
no, you can do fucking anything with film nowadays.
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
know?
that's
but,
true.
But the
well, there you go.
but if it wasn't for our German buddy,
Hmm.
show me a video of him actually taking it, of the opposite happening, launching from the surface to the sky and doing that same pattern, I would have thought fucking
See,
whatever. But he
that's-
he took it on his own camera.
Wait,
and
you
that's
saw
fucking
this?
crazy.
Yeah, I saw it. This is back a few years back.
Really?
Yeah,
And
it's
that-
fascinating
that's,
shit.
That's fucking crazy because you
Yeah, this
you
guy says
saw
they
an
follow
actual
him.
video that he took,
Yeah.
which it would be perfect for the show. But he said you
yeah,
can't.
he's
can't-
recovering his
So-
hard drives, man.
So
Ah,
it was
shit.
it was surface to air.
So it looked like skyrockets taking off, right? Like,
And what happened?
and they took off in series, right? It was like maybe 5, 6 that took off, one
Fucking
right
nut.
after another, maybe a 1 second delay between
was
them.
he in HP? Was it 4th of July?
He was yeah, that's what I thought. But it was like in December, some shit.
Okay. Well,
And,
New
but-
Year's then.
Well,
That
these damn
explains it.
Mexicans.
But
Yeah.
They're always blowing shit.
I thought originally it was just fireworks or like flares or whatever. But
Oh,
when
yeah,
they
so-
stood in their place and stood there for like a couple of minutes in a pattern, a geometric pattern,
Right.
that was different.
Well,
man.
here's
How,
the
how
story.
would he
Hold-
just
a
have his
couple of
camera
minutes.
out randomly and just say, "I'm just pointing this guy," and then boom, it happens?
He's from what his description is, he's a sky watcher, so he sees this shit all the time apparently.
What's
so-
this- yeah, he tells me that they're almost following him.
Yeah,
Really?
I don't know about that,
Oh,
but
and
but I've heard also various people say there's a lot of activity up in the sky, but we don't spend our time looking in the sky. Here we're in a big urban area and there's a lot of light pollution, so we don't get the advantage of seeing the
Yeah,
real
all the
scape out
stars
there,
and
right?
whatnot, Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of a treat, man. So it defies logic, but interesting.
Well,
right?
for future reference, George, if you could not reference videos the viewers can't see, because we have
see
no idea what it
No,
looks
well-
like. But I will tell you this: as a piece of Jag Show trivia, we've mentioned him before.
Right.
He was the guy that the Good Geeks, you guys had to go to his house
Oh yeah.
to
Oh, really?
coax him out.
Came
And
out in his underwear.
I spent 20 solid minutes talking about how why should he go to the office if he's got the video game world with him. Of course, now he's got other motivation to
I
go
know,
to the
yeah.
office
Two
that we,
little boobies.
yeah, that we can't.
Wait, so this dude came out in his underwear?
No,
No.
but I mean, we waited long enough. That motherfucker
Yeah.
was there, probably eating hot Cheetos and in his underwear at 3:00 in the afternoon.
and he
with the
says
AC full blast.
he says also George got a kick out of this. He sees them in dreams as well.
Sees who
Yeah.
in dreams?
Yeah.
The inhabitants of the ships
Oh,
that he
yeah.
sees.
That's right.
Does he describe them? Does he say
Yeah.
what they look like?
Actually, he did draw. He says he
Damn it,
he
you don't
ex-
have that photo.
He said, no, I don't have it. But he says he sees this stick figure type of symbol frequently in his dreams, right? When he's walking through these corridors in this dream, right, or dreams. And so he drew it for me one day, and I looked at it. I'm like, what the fuck is this, right?
Wow.
So I decided to take recreate this thing on my tablet, and I wanted to take a snap of it to do a Google search on it, right? And so when I had the thing and I drew it out, and then I turned the tablet a certain way to take a snapshot of it, I realized, motherfucker, I know what this symbol is, right?
What was it?
And there's this at least what it meant to me, right? That my interpretation of it was
It was a
immediately I
swastika?
thought, immediately what I thought was, if I can describe it to people kind of to a certain degree, it's
Could you
say it's a stick figure, right?
Would you be able to draw it right now?
He can draw it.
Oh,
Or Mr.
No?
Yeah, he can. Oh my gosh.
go.
Well,
Draw
while you're
it.
talking, draw it.
Do caricature.
No, you
right?
know what? Let me draw it, and then you keep talking.
Yeah.
So I looked at it. I turned it a certain way, and I'm like, motherfucker, I know what this symbol is. Or at least what popped into my mind at that particular time was
Okay.
there's this I kind of know there's a certain amount of like certain species out there, right? And there's this one that's about 8 to 10 foot tall. They call it I guess the government kind of calls it a triangular golden triangle head alien. They call it.
Golden triangle.
And this
Yeah.
is an alien that the government evidently has knowledge of.
Yes, and so this particular alien has these claw feet, like
Oh, hold on, but that you just said a mouthful there.
Right.
So, the implication then is that the government, the U.S. government, or some government on Earth,
Right,
I guess
right,
it doesn't matter in this
It doesn't matter,
context,
I guess. Yeah.
has knowledge of these beings,
beings,
that
yeah.
isn't available to the public.
Well, there's this one particular gentleman. He's a whistleblower. He was a part of, he was part of this secret program. That he was a telepathic kid.
Looks like that.
Something similar to that.
Can we see it? Can you guys see it?
Yeah, we could see it.
Something similar to that.
Oh,
Some
that's
kind of a
that's
weird
fucking crazy.
triangle shaped. Did I do it justice, George?
There's some stuff left. Yeah, it's pretty close, man.
All right.
And so immediately when I saw it, the feet represented the kind of like the reverse horseshoe looking feet and hands of this particular being.
Okay.
But the head is obviously inverted, so the apex of the triangle is pointing down. But they're like a known species that actually is trying to assist, and they're actually trying to protect humanity through these weather and energy patterns that we're traveling through.
Okay.
So they actually do influence. They do influence our exposure to these weather or these energy patterns that we're traveling through space. So they're actually, what they described is that they're creating these buffers throughout the solar system, so we won't get fucking hit so hard.
Okay.
Because what they described is that had they not created these buffers, probably half the population would be wiped out or something.
Wow.
Right. So it just was very serendipitous that he kind of drew that, and I kind of recollected something like that. But interesting enough.
I was in the room when that happened.
Oh,
That
where?
was
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
That was strange. Yeah, because he was this guy, our German friend, was saying these things, and I'm okay. My ears are perking up a little bit. And then he says they show me the symbol. He drew the thing, this weird triangle thing that I just showed the camera not so long ago, and then George got on Google, looked up some stuff, and then I think he had it sideways, right?
Right.
And then you turned it up, or like turned it upside down, and you were like, "Wait, I know what this is." And then you pulled up all this shit. We showed it to him, and he said it rang a bell
Right.
with him.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was fascinating shit. But hey, fascinating.
Dude, see,
fascinating.
that's crazy, man. Maybe there is some sort of connection between this video right here, the one that your friend showed you, and the weather patterns that are going on right now. Quite a possibility.
But exciting times, nonetheless.
Oh man.
Nonetheless.
Well, are they protecting us from something?
Well, they're protecting from us being wiped out. They have a vested interest in us
Well, wiped
surviving.
out by who or what? Or what
Wiped
the hell?
out by the Earth.
Natural things?
Natural disasters, yeah. Yeah.
So it would be even worse if they weren't around.
That's what they
Oh,
they describe. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
That's
so
pretty crazy to
but
think
the
about.
great thing is that they're saying that they're now fading out the safety nets, kind of the buffers, because we've kind of weathered through the heavier shit already.
Okay.
Right. So there's theoretically within the next year or so, there's going to be these flashes, these solar flashes, that are kind of be really disruptive.
Okay.
But they're designed to solar flashes, or I think in a past radio show we were talking about how if you shine this particular scientist, he shined light, this particular type of green laser at frog embryos. Right?
Oh
Do
yeah.
you remember that show?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he shined this particular laser at a frog embryo, and it turned into a salamander.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And it grew into a full-blown salamander. So in other words, light does affect our DNA, and it does affect our biology. So so these solar flashes that are supposed to be happening within the next year or so, 2018 or so, they're going to be reprogramming our DNA to make us better people. I don't know. I have
What
no
if
idea.
we become like mutant
Salamanders?
freaks? Yeah. Like it changes our DNA significantly enough so that we
get triangle heads.
we got triangle heads.
Like
yeah.
So then you'll have a division. It'll be the normal people and the
Hey,
triangle
yeah,
heads.
it's like the movie Time. I remember that movie.
Time.
Yeah, or I think it's Time or Time Machine.
Wait,
You're-
the old school, like the time machine?
Yeah, well,
Wh-
the
when he
story
goes-
when he goes into the future,
Right, and everyone's just a weird blue.
Humanity has split into two versions: the regular-looking people and the beasts that eat the regular-looking people.
I think it'll be, in terms of the way society will end up, it'll be something closer to idiocracy.
Oh yeah,
I think if stupid
yeah.
people keep breeding, we will eventually have a society of the spawn of the imbeciles.
I'm Donald
okay
Trump,
with
and
that.
I approve this message.
No, Drake, can you dig up the opening to Idiocracy, the intro, show it to you guys? Because I feel like because there's no natural predators to human beings,
right.
dumb people are having more kids more often than they ever have, and more of them. And if these trends continue, good genes. Because here's the thing: if you consider your life and what is best for your life, if you consider rationally, a lot less human beings should be doing this, and as a result, having less children, because of the stress on their own lives, and how unfair it is to the kids to be born into poverty, to be born into situations where their parents are drug addicts and so forth.
Just bad parenting.
Yeah. I think
Or
we
they just
gotta
wind
hear
up
it. It's
just
like
going
a-
to
you guys
college and
listen to this.
fucking
Getting smart.
being academic. Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
college is bad.
Yeah,
Right.
college is bad. We have much to say about
helps,
this.
helps you get
Listen to
smart.
this. Listen to this.
What's going on? What's
Drake, can you make
going
it
on?
big?
He can make it real big.
Oh yeah.
I don't hear anything.
Oh.
Yeah, we can't hear anything.
Uh-oh.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, fine.
Oh,
Next time. It's fine. You know why? Because we can talking about college.
Yeah.
Um,
College.
Yeah. I don't. We've talked about this before, and listen.
We're pro college.
Everybody who's intelligent, don't send your kids to college.
Right? Wow.
Your children will
Wow.
be in the
Did you
same
just hear
classes.
that?
Your children will be in the same classes as the Spawn previously mentioned.
Look.
Wow.
What's the main goal that we, for those that want to have children, what's the main goal that you would want for your child?
To be
As-
happy.
To be happy,
Happy.
right? To be able,
Be
Successful.
successful. If not, just to be happy and get their shit
And
together.
decent.
right?
That's
So,
it.
what do we
Member of
consider
society.
success in the Western society?
Money, cars, women,
Right.
boats,
Yeah.
planes,
Oh,
Damn,
I
I
got
like
a
that
semi.
shit.
Spaceships.
Ooh.
Oh,
Spaceship.
I like
Damn,
that
I like
last
that.
one.
Mhm. Well, I have a video,
That's
Mr.
right.
Dre. that'll dovetail into this, because we do look to individuals of wealth. But they're not just individuals that are wealthy because they inherited money, but they're very innovative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
people who've earned it.
Yeah, absolutely. That they've broken the mold, right? And so Dre, start that baby up from the beginning.
I have an issue with his sound humble with
The A students work for the B students.
At the moment.
Yeah, all our videos are not playing sound.
The C students run the businesses, and the D students.
So he's saying, "Hey, I'm pretty.
Let's go to a commercial.
I'm not an alien, you guys. What the fuck? I'm telling you guys.
Kind of looks like an alien.
I'm not
What
a
you
gray.
don't understand is that I've been called an alien my whole life.
Me too, buddy.
18 years old.
Oh, there goes.
Start from the beginning, dude.
All right.
All right, here we go.
You want idiocracy first?
Here we go.
Well, oftentimes business education today, and I see it all the time, kids
Make
come
it
out
bigger.
of college, the best colleges, Wharton and Harvard and Stanford and some of the great business schools, and they'll come out and they won't have practical experience. There's too many case studies that aren't practical.
The people who are doing the work that we care about are figuring out what to do next, not following the person who told them what to do next. And the problem with most colleges is they are high school, but with more binge drinking.
The A students work for the B students. The C students run the businesses, and the D students dedicate the buildings.
The entire purpose of a good university is to give you a foundation to fail, not a foundation to get an A.
Yes.
And if you graduate from college with straight A's, you have to do some serious soul searching as to why you chose to spend your time doing that.
You know, we ask
Damn.
kids that are 16 to 18 years old to make $100,000 debt decisions when they go off to university. And they're not prepared for that. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. They just assume, okay, I'm going to pay 4 years of education at $25,000 a pop, and when I come out the other side, somehow I'll be able to pay it back.
Right.
That's not how life works anymore.
It's like the newspaper industry,
Mark
right?
Cuban.
More printing presses, more big buildings, right? Makes us look grander. We have brains that we're putting them out there. There's a point of diminishing returns in terms of
You're telling
what it's
me.
worth for a college education and how much debt you're willing to saddle yourself with.
I mean, it's actually kind of funny. You know, if you think of like what is education, like you're basically downloading data and algorithms into your brain, and it's actually amazingly bad in conventional education because like it shouldn't be like this huge chore. You've got someone standing up there kind of lecturing at people, and they've done the same lecture 20 years in a row, and they're not very excited about it. And in fact, I think a lot of things people learn probably there's no point in learning them because they never use them in the future. Because a lot of kids are just in school kind of puzzled as to why they're there.
So taking, these are gentlemen.
Thanks, Elon.
I feel better.
But these guys are known for innovation, right?
Right.
They're known for creating structure systems where they employ thousands of people.
Right.
And they're well known. I mean, there's plenty of billionaires out in the world, but these are really well known. And they themselves realize that, and they were all college dropouts. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them were college dropouts, and that
Some are college regretters.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So it takes creativity, it takes persistence, it takes ingenuity, it takes falling on your ass all the fucking time, but learning from it, right?
And that's actually one of the things that people think is wrong with the millennial generation, that we're being raised by parents who don't let us do that. And to be honest, I went to college. There isn't much room for falling on your ass. That there is, especially now. I mean, people are going in. I've heard stories of this happening in universities today, where a student will walk into a professor's office and say, well, why aren't I getting an A? And the professor's like, well, you didn't complete internet. And he's just like, well, I'm not leaving here until you give me an A. I'm not leaving. I'm going to stay. I'm going to, they have to call security and all this bullshit. And aside from the obvious entitlement, there's this weird sense that for a person even to get to that point where they think that that's a viable strategy, you've had to have led a life where you didn't have much disappointment. And now you're facing disappointment for the first time, and you don't know what the fuck to do with yourself. So you're going to throw a tantrum in the professor's
What do
office.
you guys think about that one phrase where they're saying, A students work for B students,
trippy.
right? And then C students own the fucking businesses, and then the D's dedicate the buildings. What do you guys think about that chain?
Well, the first part is a lot of what education is all the way from kindergarten to you graduate with a bachelor's degree is really compliance. It's really going along with the rules, following the rules. Listen, most teachers have to deal with what? From K through 12, it's like, 30 students a class for 4 classes a day or whatever it is. Right. That's a lot of fucking people.
It used to be 6.
Or whatever.
It's 4.
Right, or whatever, And so when it comes time to give out grades, sure, I mean, you're going to compute, whatever. But a lot of it's going to be based on, well, how does that kid make me feel? Especially the female teachers. do I like this kid?
This kid's a dickhead.
Right. Fuck this kid. No, listen to me. I was the same a-hole I am now when I was in college, and I've turned in stellar work that had gotten me into higher levels of things in college. Right. That when there were situations where like a teacher didn't like me as a guy because I was an ass to him, I would get like B's and C's and shit, and then take those same pieces, those same works of fiction in this case, and use them to get into higher classes that you had to try out for and get in over other people.
Right.
So it's a lot of it. And look, to be fair to the instructors, a lot of it's human nature. If you don't like someone, you don't want to give them an A.
Right.
You know what I mean? If a student was an a-hole in class and he starts, challenging what you're saying, and he's obviously smarter than you are, and you're not going to want to reward that kind of behavior, right? So you're going to take the petty way out and say, well, fuck this. When it comes time for this guy's assignment, when the corner reads Martinelli, fuck that asshole.
And see, that's how the school system is failing you. Yeah. I mean, it's totally unfair that you take grading with a subjective approach. You can't fucking do that.
It's human nature for one, and to talk about to back to what George said, it's when you get straight A's. I think what the gentleman on the video was saying, if you got straight A's in college, you in all likelihood kissed a lot of ass. You had no real will of your own. You turned in assignments when they told you to turn them in. You read what they told you to read. You did everything you were told to do. And that makes, you weren't building the muscles of innovation during those formative years.
You're a compliance person.
That's right. So when you come out on the other side,
right, you look for that same system.
And not only that, but what am I supposed to now be innovative after not having been innovative? Right. And by the way, not being innovative gets you rewarded. Right?
Yeah, that's actually true.
You get the A. From level 1, from like grade 1, there's assemblies where you get a certificate and you get in front of the auditorium with your stupid little whatever when you're 8 years old and it means nothing and everyone's clapping for you and your parents couldn't be more proud and you hear your mom talking about how awesome her kid is and not this other stupid kid. You know what I mean? You get rewarded.
Right.
And I mean, for like, what are children but little animals?
Right.
You give a dog a treat, he's gonna do whatever that thing is again.
So then I'm hearing you, but then what are you supposed to do then as a parent? Just say, I don't give a fuck what happens.
You should take more. First off, I believe
applaud them if they get all F's.
Don't raise dumbasses.
Okay.
No, but here's the thing: if your children's getting all F's, you're probably doing a shitty job as a parent somewhere along the line. Because that means.
Or maybe you're not actually paying attention to your actual kid because they may be creative. They may be very creative where they don't fit in that system.
That's shitty parenting. If you're not paying attention,
if you're not paying attention, absolutely. So it's funny because it's creativity that leads, right? They create systems. Mr. Lemeni and I, we're probably not the best fucking students in the world, right?
Probably not.
I've had a few discussions with my professors, but the thing is that innovation you don't learn that from a textbook, man. No. And on your ass.
Yeah.
And coupling with a desire for change, right? Desire for a different system. But school, I don't think it prepares you, man. It actually may even handicap you because it puts you at a subjective position because, like the guy said, a lot of kids at 18, they're going into serious debt, right? That when they actually catapult from the educational system, now they're crippled with this massive debt that will never go away. Not even BK will take that shit away, right?
Unless
but you're saddled with that. Yeah, you're saddled with it.
And it is and here that's my chief argument for people who say, well, statistically speaking, if you go to college, you make $100,000 more a year. Yeah, but that should cost you $100,000.
Right.
So you really
with
lose,
interest,
and you lose 4 years of your life.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you have a lot of fun, you drinking plenty of beer and picking up a few STDs, but then that's about where it ends. It doesn't really prepare you for life. No. It's. Jesus fucking Christ. It's the greatest scam ever perpetrated on the American middle class. is this idea that you need college to get, because it might have been true at one point.
Right.
It, you know, the 1950s, whatever. It was true back then.
Right.
But, you know, nowadays, I don't know. I'm looking at that screen and seeing a lot of dropouts who are rich as fuck. So it's,
and on that note,
thank you all for joining us on the JAG Radio program. Mr. Lamelli, thanks for coming on, brother. Glad to have you on again. Where can they find us, Jay?
They could find us on Facebook /JAG Radio and on Twitter @JAG Radio 1 and on the new Super Audio Network YouTube channel. And
they can find us on jagradio.com, and be sure to visit goodgeeks.com for all your tech needs, people.
Right.
And
Good
everybody,
Geeks.
be sure to check out Dre's new app, man. He got a fantastic app for his network.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's up with that app, Dre? Tell us about it.
Super dope. My shit on?
Hey, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Dre. Thanks, buddy.
Super dope. It's going to have music. It's going to have live shows. It's going to have Instagram. It's going to have all the good stuff.
And you can call in just by pushing a button,
Pushing a
man.
button.
Yeah.
You had better believe it.
And I promise if you call in, you won't get Alex.
How dare you? In their dreams, they get me. 4 Engineer, Dre Day All Day, George Antonio, JD Marcel, and Chili Melly. I'm Alex Martinelli, reminding all of you to never stop learning.
Hey, what's up? This is JD Marcel from the JAG Radio, and you want to go with goodgeeks.com.
For unlimited Wi-Fi.
Unlimited. Now, $200. That's all you got to pay for the best fucking unlimited internet.
Dude, that's fucking device plus 3 months of unlimited service. That means device, fucking unlimited Netflix, unlimited fucking music, and fucking
Unlimited
drinking and shit.
fucks.
Yeah, unlimited fucks too, man.
Goodgeeks.com.